Greetings and welcome to our daily Devo for Tuesday, August the 29th. We continue on our journey through the Gospels, walking tour of the Gospels, experience the life and lessons of Jesus. It's been really good. It's not like a constant depth. He tells the story, and then he's got one or two poignant statements in there that just causes your mind to, oh, you know what, never thought about that, but it causes you to contemplate, and that's great. We need to contemplate and not just stay on the surface level of things. So I'm appreciating our author John Beck in doing that for us, or helping us to do that for ourselves. Really, we're entering a new chapter today. It's Jesus's ministry in Galilee. Jesus' ministry in Galilee. That's the main title of this chapter, but today's lesson is Jesus' move from Nazareth to Capernaum. And he cites Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 through 17, where it says just flat out in verse 13, leaving Nazareth, he went and lived in Capernaum. Ministry will do that to you. Call you away from your hometown on to someplace else where the Lord is asking you to do something there, or to make it an important place for you to be. Anyway, our author thinks that what we're going to get out of this text is that Jesus' move from Nazareth to Capernaum fulfilled Old Testament prophecy and positioned his ministry for international impact. The Gospels do not mention all of Jesus' location changes, only those that play a significant role in the story, in his story. One of the most important is the shift from his childhood home to a place that became, quote unquote, his hometown. Matthew chapter 9, verse 1, the move from Nazareth to Capernaum. Nazareth and Capernaum are vastly different places. Nazareth sat on the top of a 1,110-foot ridge, nestled into the bottom of a valley on top of that ridge. Capernaum was situated on a sprawling plain beside the Sea of Galilee. This difference in topography impacted each one's growth. Nazareth could not outgrow its valley, so it remained a small village of 300 to 400 residents. Capernaum could stretch out and become a town 4 times larger. Nazareth's simple economy was based on subsistence farming. Capernaum had a diverse economy that included farming, fishing, basalt tool making, as well as the support and taxation of international trade. Nazareth's topography favored isolation, exactly the kind of place that gave observant Jewish families the isolation from Greco-Roman culture they desired. By contrast, Capernaum was fully engaged with the thoughts and culture of the larger world. And finally, Nazareth was part of the tribal territory of Zebulun, while Capernaum was in the tribal territory of Naphtali. So how was Jesus' ministry advantaged by this shift in location? Matthew begins by highlighting the way in which the shift between tribal territories fulfilled Old Testament prophecy about the Messiah in Isaiah 9, 1 and 2. About 750 years before the time of Jesus, the prophet Isaiah indicated that these two tribal territories would have two common experiences. The first was occurring as Isaiah wrote. Zebulun and Naphtali felt the full force of the Assyrian invasion under Tiglath-Pileser III, whose war machine ravaged the landscape. Isaiah highlights the horror by speaking of the darkness of this era when these tribal territories became Galilee of the Gentiles. But Isaiah also looked ahead to a time when Zebulun and Naphtali would experience a reversal when darkness, quote unquote, gave way to light, quote unquote, the time when the Messiah honored both with his presence. Nazareth is in Zebulun. So the first half of the reversal in fortune happened as Jesus spent his early years in Nazareth. The second was fulfilled when Jesus left Nazareth and moved to Capernaum in Naphtali. What Matthew does not formally mention, but the geography clearly implies, is also important. As Jesus moved from the isolation of Nazareth to the international exposure offered by Capernaum, he positioned all that he said and did before the larger world. That sounds like missionary work to me, doesn't it to you? That's what missionaries do. They leave home, a place that they've been blessed to live in, a place that hopefully has been blessed by them living there. But the Lord says, there's a better place for you. There's a place where you can reach more people. There's a place where the world will come to your door. And so Jesus makes that move. It's a fulfillment of prophecy. It's what God the Father had planned out from ages past. At least, again, we're reminded 750 years prior to this, it's been prophesied. It's going to happen. It's an important step to go from point A to go to point B, and not just fulfill prophecy and go live there like you've lived there, but go for the purpose of having the opportunity to reach other people groups. That's happening here in America, and I fear not enough believers are taking advantage of it. That places in this world that would be incredibly difficult for us to go to, even impossible for us to go to, God has stirred up the world and they're coming right here. Be they from Iraq or Iran or Syria or Afghanistan or Pakistan or India, you name it. You name it. One of the best blessings in my life has been 3 times now, to a ceremony at the courthouse where people from a multitude of different countries are brought in as citizens of our country, and it becomes their country. And the pledge that they take is incredible. The pledge basically says we will not be loyal to the country we're from anymore. We will now be loyal to America. It's powerful. I've shared it before at church. It's a powerful pledge. And for me, that's what the Lord's call in our lives is. He's asking us to let go of that and take hold of this, his kingdom, his purpose, his plan, his will, and commit ourselves to it, no matter what that means. No matter what that means. Wherever you need me, Lord, I'm ready. I hope we can live with that. Hope we can have that mindset as we go through our day each day. There are people around me that the Lord has purposely, God the Father has purposely brought here. May our prayer be, Lord, help me handle it for your honor and glory, and for the salvation of those people who need to hear the gospel. Blessings to you today on this Tuesday.